Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Call Sheet Confessions. This episode is deeply personal to me. I have a very, very special guest on. His career highlights include working for Mariah Carey, Rihanna, Jennifer Lopez, and more. He had his own program called Breaking Barriers. Then he opened a studio called Anthony Burrell Center for Dance in Atlanta, Georgia. He's a professor at Boston Conservatory and out here for the showcase this week. I have none other than Anthony Burrell on the pod.
What's up, conversationalists? What's up, good people?
Welcome, Anthony. I'm so happy to have you on.
Oh, it's an honor and a privilege to be across from you so many years later in this capacity. You know, these are like the things I dreamed about as an educator. You know what I mean? What will the kids I poured into amount to, strive for? Will they pursue a life in the industry? You know, and I think it's nice to see that you're carving out your own space in your own lane, and I think that's what it's about. You know what I mean? So I'm excited and happy for you. You know what I mean? To even be here to support you.
Thanks, I appreciate that. And I think the last time I saw you, I was 12, and I'm turning 22 this month.
Wow, isn't that something?
Yeah,
a whole college, high school life. You were definitely not in high school.
No. So
high school, college, and now into your career.
Yeah. Do you remember how we first met?
Was it at Fresh?
It was actually at Longwood Gardens.
Oh yeah, at Philadelphia's performance.
Yes.
And you was like, I'm coming to the Breaking Barriers or something like that.
It was so funny. You were like standing and I was like, oh my god, I think that's Anthony.
Oh, I do remember that.
And my mom was like, are you sure he's all like incognito? I'm like, what does that mean? Like I'm like 10, 11. But yeah, and then I like walked up to you and I was like, I'm auditioning for Breaking Barriers, and you like picked me right up and we took a great photo.
Oh,
yeah.
I love that. I love that.
It's so funny because then I ended up doing the program like a couple weeks later. Yeah.
Wait, so you weren't scheduled to come to the Breaking Barriers?
It was the audition.
Okay.
It was. I was planning on doing the audition, and then I did that, and then the program started.
All right.
Yeah. I think I had first seen Raising Asia, on Dance Moms and stuff, and I guess I had a Twitter or my mom had a Twitter. Somehow I was like on Twitter and I saw Asia post that you were doing this intensive in Philly.
Oh wow! Okay.
And I ran to my mom's room. I'm like, I have to do this. Shout out
to Asia Ray.
Shout out, seriously. But I was like, oh my gosh, it's in Philly? Like, this is crazy because there's not as many things in Philly. There are now. There are more things. Sure. But I was shocked. And I did this whole, speech to my grandfather asking if I could, stay with him for the few weeks because he lives right out, a lot closer to the city. Yeah. Shout out to him. He would drive me there and back every day. But, yeah, that's how we ended up doing it.
Well, I'm super grateful. To each and every kid that has trusted me, including you, with just coming in and believing in my dream to just, to pour into kids that just love dance. And, that's what it was about for me, was just giving those opportunities and access to my community of people in Philly. So. Yeah,
there was no type of training like that anywhere else.
I mean, now
where I grew up.
Now it's a dime a dozen,
right.
What I mean? So I like to think that, creating Breaking Barriers, a program like that was, I feel like it inspired a lot of people to start a lot of their own initiatives. And
now everyone has an intensive.
Everybody got a program. A dime a dozen. Okay?
Yeah, but Breaking Barriers is one in a million, though. Yeah, it's special.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So you're from Philly. Shout out Philly. It's actually funny because I started this in Philadelphia and I've been continuing out in LA. So now it's we have a mix of both. We have Philly and LA.
Okay.
So what were you like as a kid? How'd you get into dance? How did this career path find you? And how the way you were as a kid, how does that translate to your career now?
What was I like as a kid? I was really sheltered because I had, some traumatic experiences as a kid growing up where I was displaced, going house to house due to some family things. And I felt like I was one of those kids that were non-expressive, really. I was very quiet. Some things came up in my childhood with the displacement from like abuse, and I think those things push you further and further into a dark space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I had no way of expressing, no way of talking, no way of having that support from a male companion, a father figure to kind of disclose those things too. So I think being embarrassed by some of the things that happened to me forced me further and further into a dark space. And two, I found dance in middle school, and I started out as like a little street dance thing with this group called the South Philly Shakers.
Okay.
And we started doing like little local talent shows and traveling up to New York to compete in the All Stars, which is like this big competition in New York.
Yeah.
And we that happened for a while, and then I met one of the girls, and one of the girls from South Philly Shakers went to my middle school. She was like, "Oh, there's a dance program, there's a dance group in the school," and we ended up doing that. And the guidance counselor from the school noticed I had like this ball of energy and talent.
Yeah,
and she was like, it's this program in South Philly, you should go to. It's 2 blocks from your house, yada yada yada. Ended up being the Point Breeze Performing Arts Center, which is where I got my first start at classic training in this community-based organization. It was ballet, jazz, karate, piano.
Oh, cool.
Like they had everything.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? But of course, as a little boy from the hood in Philly, like it was kind of like taboo, going there and partaking in something like that because living in the hood, doing ballet was not the norm.
Yeah.
I mean? So they would literally have to like lock the side doors, because I would come in, check in, and then walk out the side door and then go like be in the streets and hooky. They got hip to that eventually and started locking that side door. and just to think that care and that level of attention, and they saw me, you know what I mean? They saw that the ability, they saw that this kid had all this ability, basically, and they nurtured it. And which is one of the reasons why I started breaking barriers, is because they saw me, you know what I mean? And I want to be that same vehicle for other people. And I feel so indebted to Donna and Al Brown, who were the owners of Point Breeze Performing Arts Center, who have now passed on. Not only because of Point Breeze, but they took me into their home, adopted me at 13, 14.
Wow.
Saw me through high school, got me through my first year of college at UArts, got me my train tickets to audition for Alvin, Ailey. I mean, so it was just like they were my guardian angels. Kind of, just being at the right space in the right time, and it kind of transpired into where I am today. And it couldn't be a better storybook, ending, of how this kid walked into this community center and now influencing, teaching, not just in academia, but in the entertainment industry. It's a total dream come true.
It's amazing. And it's so nice that you found that support and those people that believed in you, and now you're able to do that for the next generation,
I think God has a way of just showing up when, he knows exactly what I didn't have, and he placed the people in my life that could provide financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually.
Yeah.
There were things that I would discuss with them at the dinner tables that it's just different when you don't have a mother-father household. You don't think about what that time at the dinner table means to you, and just having that moment of conversation and just them listening and how was your day? You know what I mean? It was like, wow. I always had a family, but that's when I was like, oh wow, this is really special, because they took me in as their own and provided such a safe space for me to feel welcome, to feel loved, to feel like they're a son. And that gave me that gave me confidence. It gave me life.
Yeah.
It gave me like wings to feel like, okay, I got support. Now
Right.
they're pushing me like, go do this, go audition. Like, you know what I mean? So those people are truly like my angels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't put it in no other ways. Like God knew what he was doing when he had that guidance counselor tell me to go to that program. It was exactly what I needed.
Yeah. And shout out to that guidance counselor as well.
Shout out to Miss Williams.
Yes.
I remember her. Like I was like Miss Williams. I was like, I wish I could find her because I'm just like, wow, you really like pivoted my life.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was doing terrible in school because of the abuse that was going on, and that was that opportunity to go to that program was definitely my first bout at therapy. Dance was the therapy. It was that vehicle. It was that vehicle for expression. It was that outlet to see positive influence, you know, in male figures that weren't just my uncles. That, you know, they were great at what they did, but you know, affluent.
Yes.
The people at the school had college education. You know what I mean? Whether they conversed with me was different.
Yeah.
From how my family did, and it was instantly like, oh wow, this is another representation that I didn't know I needed. You know what I mean? Because I saw positive Black male influence that weren't.
And changed the narrative for you.
It changed the narrative for what Black male was, and how Black men support other Black men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I was teased for dancing by a lot of my family members. At this institution, they applauded. They cheered me on. They poured into me. They was like, oh, you're talented. Oh, you could do this. Like, you're really special. You're a star. Like, they constantly gave me affirmations to propel me forward and for me to believe in myself when I didn't even understand what I had going on.
It's so crazy to me that you just said how they said that you're a star. I don't know if you remember this, but it was a very important moment for me. I dealt with abuse as a child too, and have a very, very troubled relationship with my father. And dance is that outlet. Like finding dance was therapy for me. And then I met you at a very young age while I was dealing with a lot at home. And you're tough. Like, you're tough. But I remember at the end of the program, you wrote on a little note, like after our showcase, it said, you're a star. And like after all of that, like hard work and like hearing that from you meant so much to me. And also like you taught me so much about dance, and literally there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of something that you've taught me. Like I was telling my mom earlier, there was a time where you were like, don't stand with your hands like this. You don't look confident, arms behind your back, like stand up tall, like chest tall. And whenever I speak to people or meet people for the first time, I'm always like, all right, Anthony always says like stand, like there's little things like that. And even more than dance, like I mean, I was dealing with a lot at home, and I was a little like snarky or sassy as a child. And, and there was a time where like I got in a little like argument or two with, you know, people at the program, and you were like, Mia, that's you. Like I think a girl had apologized to me, and you were like, do you accept her apology? And I said, mm-hmm. And you yelled at me. You were like, you don't say mm-hmm, you say yes or no. Like there was just so much that you taught me, and like having like a male figure in my life at that young age believe in me and actually like not just teach me lessons about dance but about life was really essential.
Well, that means a lot. You know, because I was just thinking on my way here, like, I should have probably got a psychology degree. You know what I mean? Because as much as that, as many people I come in contact with, like, dance is really about understanding people.
Yeah.
And yeah, the physical is there and it's necessary, but when you know about people, especially as an educator in the room, meeting people where they are, you know what I mean? Seeing people where they're at through their traumas when they walk through the door. How can I help this person evolve in a way that, you know, they don't even see themselves in most spaces and most times? And it took me a while to get there because I think I was all my teachers were like, bam, 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 hard on me. And I felt like I had to be that same for my students. Yeah. And now I'm a total different teacher now.
I was wondering that. I was
I'm a total different teacher now.
I have a suspicion that he's eased up.
Yeah, I think after getting my master's, I think it allowed me to take a glimpse into people's everyday life, what people go through.
Yeah, like you said, meet people where they're at.
Meet you exactly where you are, and I wasn't doing that. I was doing it from like, oh, you want to be a fame, you want to be a star, you want this, you know what I mean? This is the hard work that you need, and
which was the culture of a lot of dance teachers. Like that's how it was. But I think there is this like shift of we don't need to like be as harsh.
Yeah,
There's a way to be like firm, but also still supportive.
Nurture.
Yeah, nurture. That's the word.
Yeah, I think it's important that I've learned that lesson. You know what I mean? I've seen myself on a couple of episodes of like Dance Moms, or I'm just like, yeah, that's just not, you know what I mean? How I was portrayed is just like, that's just not necessarily my intentions. You know, how editing made things look. And
right.
You know, I'm a Cancer, so
I'm a Pisces.
I'm really
sign.
a mushy, kind of soft, emotional person. So when I saw those things that people thought that I was demeaning people, that's just never been a part of my practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've always been about building confidence, uplifting, motivating, getting people to reach their higher self, their higher star.
That's what I took from you.
But like, I think sometimes the reflection on TV didn't depict that a lot of times. And I think that's what really allowed me to like tap back into myself. Like, how can I shift that narrative? But not for people that already, you know what I mean, but for me, you know what I mean? For me, because that's just not what I want to portray. So I had to be intentional about walking into the dance room or into the space, what I call like, it's like church for everybody. We come in there with the same love, same common love for this one thing. And how can I inspire? How can I uplift? How can I allow these people to leave a part of themselves in the space and feel safe and not feel like I'm abusing and badgering them? You know what I mean? Because it's...
But that's like life is, you learn, you grow, that like self and personal development and being able to watch yourself and self-evaluate. And that's life. And that's an important skill because some people can't like,
for sure.
Be accountable like that. Sure. Like they can't like check in with themselves and make those adjustments. But it takes like courage to do that. And like you have to admit to yourself like, all right, there's a better way I could be doing things. Sure. But what matters is the growth that comes from it.
Yeah, I figured it out with the dance. I just can't figure it out in my own personal relationship life, though.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's like, geez, Louise. But dance has been my main for a really long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard to fit anyone else in there because I never really cared or respected anything as much as I do dance.
It's so funny. I'm like, my career, my business life, always doing well, always going up. My
personal. Yeah, it's terrible, huh?
Yeah.
That's why I always tell my students, no ballet shoes over the boys, okay? It's like, because they would drive you crazy, you know what I mean? Throw you off track sometimes, but you know what I mean? It takes a really strong person mentally and emotionally to balance these things really well, especially when you're trying to be successful and the people that come into your life that don't necessarily understand your why, you know what I mean?
Right.
And you don't spend enough time, you don't make enough plans, you don't do this, you know what I mean? So
yeah, it's also hard in this industry, like if people aren't in it, they don't get it.
You absolutely don't get it. To understand the time commitment that goes into going traveling, taking classes, the investment.
I like the ballet shoes over boys.
For sure.
One of my dance teachers before I went to college was like, do not let the guys in college like distract you from what you're doing. Like you have something. I briefly let them distract. I was still like obviously dancing and staying consistent, but I got into like not a good relationship. And he didn't get it at all, or there's also the aspect of dance where it's like acting, like, there's like relationships that have to be portrayed. So that was not something that went over well either. Yeah. Like it takes a special person to really understand that, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Dance has been my Valentine since I was a child.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Exactly. So that's how you got into dance. How did you know that it's something you wanted to pursue professionally, and how did your professional career begin?
Uh, at the Point Breeze Performing Arts Center, I saw a video of Alvin, and it was the first time I saw a video with brown people doing artistic style
Yeah.
modern dance.
That you saw representation.
And I was like, oh wow, that dude looks like my uncle. He had an afro. They were like older. It was like an
Yeah.
older video of the Ailey company, and I was like, oh wow, that's cool. A year later, I saw them on the school trip, and instantly I was like, oh yeah, this is where I want to go. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. And
Yeah.
everything from that point was about Alvin Ailey, like where I trained, the people that were in Ailey that were from Philly, like who did they train with, and everything that they did, I tried to follow their footsteps. And this was before IG and a whole bunch of internet things where you could swipe and see your favorite dancer. This is when you had to go purchase videotapes, VHSs, and be inspired by like, oh wow, this is my favorite dancer. You know what I mean? So I tracked my life on. I don't track my life, but I followed these dancers and followed their careers and idolized these persons all on VHS, and finally getting the opportunity to audition for Judith Jamison was like a dream come true. She came to Philly for an award show, and all of the local Philadelphia dance groups were like trying to perform, and all the kids at the U Arts College was trying to, it was like a free audition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like a little showcase. Yeah.
But she stopped the showcase and was like, have you ever auditioned for me? I was like, no, ma'am. I'm just 17. She was like, well, you should come to the audition so next week. Like, I was like, oh, okay, and at this performance, I performed For All We Know, and Leslie Odom, who's like Leslie Odom now, sang for me as I did it a cappella before my kids did the little gospel number that I choreographed. I was like, y'all hold your thought. Let me go do this solo.
Yeah.
And that was one of the most life-changing moments in my career. You know what I mean? Meeting her and having her see me there, and later auditioning, and I didn't get into first company, but I got into second company because there were no openings, and that night shifted the trajectory of my life again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like being put in these spaces at the right time, and I feel like that's just how my career went. Like God had this plan.
Yeah.
And I just needed to show up and be present and to be honest in my gift. And yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think that's God. And also, like, I believe in, like, I have guardian angels, for sure. And I feel like there's angels at play for you,
for
too,
sure.
Guiding, like, those, being in the right place at the right time, and those things, like, happening, it's for a reason. Like, it's meant to happen, So then when you were getting into concert dance, how did you then get into commercial dance?
So I was in Alvin, and a mentor, Frank Gatson, called Desmond Richardson, who was like a famed modern dancer. He was like, hey, I need some guys. You know any guys 6 foot tall? So he called the Ailey building. We were on lunch. He was like, hey, this choreographer that worked with Michael Jackson, so and so and so forth, was looking for dancers. I was like, cool, I'll go. It was on our lunch break, 3 to 4. I took an Uber to Radio City, and they were preparing for Beyonce's 2003. I think she did Baby Boy and Crazy in Love at that show. And it was this vision that Frank had that he calls him the Liquid Men, dressed in an all-black unitard face.
Okay.
We were just like this,
this
amoeba of like just shadow, basically.
Yeah.
She came down upside down. We took the belt off. I took the belt off and was just kind of moving with her, and we moved the couch that she landed on.
Okay.
And that was our part.
Okay.
And that kind of sparked that. That was the introduction. And from that day, immediately, I told Frank, I was like, yo, I got to get back to work. You know what I mean? Because it was on my lunch break. I was like, I got to get back, you know what I mean, to my job. He was like, well, what's your job? He was like, Alvin. He was like, that ain't no job. I was like, what? worked my butt off to get to this place. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was. I don't think he meant it derogatory, but I think, you know what I mean. He was like, that's not the job. For some reason he fixed his mouth to say that, but I think what he meant is that
there's a whole world. There's a whole other world
of dance,
right,
and opportunity and financial gain. And he taught me a lot when it came to just being a successful male commercial dancer, the do's and what not to do's. A lot of great philosophies. So shout out to Frank Gassing, who
totally
gave me another being at the right place at the right time, being at the Ailey school and them calling and me taking the opportunity to go to that audition and him taking me right to Beyonce's room. Like, hey, this guy is like
incredible.
This guy can do this. Look what he can do. I was like, okay, I'm meeting this lady for the first time. I instantly get into a conversation with Beyonce about her sister who does technical dance, and that was my introduction. 2003 Video Music Awards.
Wow. That was the year
Liquid
before
Man.
I was born.
Yeah, it was. It was. See, I was going, that's when you was a baby, okay?
Yeah. So then your career spanned into commercial dance, dancing with artists. What was it like to perform with these artists and everything that you did on your career? Also, what's the biggest difference between concert and commercial dance, or things that you like about both?
Well, I think the biggest thing I've learned, translation, how you translate the movement. You know what I mean? It's the same vocabulary. It's the same words. It's just different inflection. How you articulate the movement. And I think being able to be an Ailey dancer is it's an elite company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to have a really strong technical background.
Right.
And mostly every dancer in Ailey is a star. You know what I mean? Everyone has this quality about them that makes them so super special.
Yeah.
And I think that being that, it made me a little bit more special in the commercial world, because my second job with Beyonce was just to walk her down the steps. And I was like, why y'all fly me here to walk her down the steps?
Right.
And they were like, because we knew if she fell, you could catch her or do something.
They tried that trust in you.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting perspective, but I get it. You know what I mean? That partnering, the skill of making things look effortless.
Yeah.
Is something that Frank understood right away, because he respected the Ailey legacy. He trained at Ailey as a student, as a kid in New York. So he understood the product that came from Ailey. So they flew me out for that job. Then eventually it turned into another tour for her. I was still in Alvin, and I called Miss Jamison. I was like, Miss Jamison, I have this wonderful opportunity to go on tour with Beyonce. And she was like, well, I understand all that, but if you don't come to work on Monday, you don't have a job here.
Yeah.
And on that Monday, I was on tour. I took the opportunity. I was like, yeah, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. And
right.
even though Alvin Ailey was the pinnacle of my success, and still to this day, I feel like it's the thing that I hold to the highest regard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took that leap of faith, and I don't regret it. I don't regret it, because I think it allowed me to see that other world that Frank was talking about.
Yeah. How did you have the courage to make that decision?
It was tough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because my whole life was working up towards Alvin Ailey.
Right.
So
And then,
to quit my job, I get that gut wrenching feeling right still thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because it was something that was so special to me. You know what I mean? That I had to sacrifice to, because my boss at the time didn't understand. You know what I mean? So I believed in myself enough, and I took that gamble, and don't regret it.
Totally. Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, I ended up auditioning 5 years later to go back to Alvin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I rejoined Ailey for 2 more years and quit again, because I realized it was like, damn, this is like, I was hungry. You know what I mean? I wasn't making no money. I had a kid at that time, and Safari, yeah, I know
love her. It was just her birthday.
I know. She has a boyfriend now.
She does. Oh wait, I saw a little picture. That How do you feel about that?
I don't know how. I think
up.
she's grown. You know what I mean? I just know how I was at 20. I respect her space. I respect where she is. So it's like, grow up. You know what I mean? Just know that the people that you date are a reflection of your future. You know what I mean? And you can allow this person to be that person that don't understand what you're going through, what you're trying to accomplish, or you can have someone that's there that's supportive and understanding.
Yeah.
Just be cautious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And know that that's just told. I said, I don't care who your Valentine is. I'm still your Valentine.
Yes, yes.
I love that baby. But yeah, I think, you know what I mean, I was broke. And so I had to leave. And then so immediately when I left Ailey again, I started auditioning for So You Think You Can Dance.
Right, yeah.
I didn't get on the show, but I had a lot of like buzz from it because they cut me. And it was like, why did this guy get cut? Yada, yada, news outlets. And I got a direct book tour for Katy Perry from that experience.
So even though you got cut, it ended up leading to something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I believe that it's that destiny, that
Definitely.
faith, that thing that just trusting in the process.
Yeah.
And me quitting a second time was not because I wasn't. I just couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford to live in New York as a single father, and I needed something more. And being in the commercial industry prior for the last 5 years, like I realized like I can make a living off of commercially, especially with my daughter.
Yeah.
I was living off residuals when I went back to Ailey from like movies and things that I've done for that 2 years. But those things started dwindling, and I was like, oh yeah, I was like, Miss Jamison, what's up? Is there any teaching opportunities I could do?
Yeah.
She was like, you know what you auditioned for, so I don't know how we can help you. You can either leave or we can fire you. I was like, well, I think this is just my last show.
Yeah.
It's a little too hard for me to try to support myself.
Yeah.
And I took a gamble again, quit. So You Think You Can Dance. The Katy Perry tour happened, and got injured on that tour. Did a movie right after that. Just started doing some acting things, and then that's when my cousin randomly called me and was like, hey, cuz, I work at this company. You want to come in for an interview? I was like, sure. I didn't know what it was. And when I got there, it was Collins Avenue, who are the folks from Dance Moms, Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition. Gotcha. So my cousin ended up being the plug.
Wow.
At the Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition, and it was just like
interesting. Yeah.
Handed me a TV show. I was like, okay.
Sure,
I'll
sign
take
me
it,
up. Yeah.
You know?
How crazy. It's so
crazy,
cool how it worked out like that.
But I mean, I had the credentials. So it wasn't like he was just passing me opportunity, but I had like.
But it's just funny to see like how things can just work out in so many different ways. Your cousin from this to like how it interconnects, you know. Of course you had the credentials, but it's just cool to see how, you know, you could not think that someone could know someone, but you never know, you know.
Still, like that blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like, my cousin that I have, the crazy thing, I've never met this cousin.
Wow.
And I knew he was from LA. Randomly hit me up, started going to family functions. He was like, hey, cuz, I got an opportunity for you. Randomly. I was like, okay, cool. Then that started the Dance Moms, Abby's Ultimate, Raising Asia kind of world, TV and reality TV. That what's that show called? So You Think You Can Dance kind of sparked that reality TV bug. So yeah, that kind of transpired. And I think the education component came in from working with all these artists. Like I realized, oh, okay, maybe my true calling wasn't to be a performing artist. It's to be able to learn all this information and take it back and pour it into my students. So in 2017, I was working with Mariah. In 2014 or like 2017, I was working with Mariah as well as our creative director. And she had that New Year's Eve situation that happened. And they tried to toss the blame on me. Yeah.
My mom actually still gets mad about that. She won't listen to Mariah because of that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Like if her song comes on, we're just like, she shouldn't have done Anthony like that.
Yeah,
like,
But to be honest, it really wasn't her. It was her management team. You know what I mean? And I think.
Because then it was on the news. It was like Anthony Burrell, and it's like, what? He was trying to help. He was trying to save the show.
I mean, if anybody saw the show, you could tell. But I think her manager at the time was a nutcase. You know what I mean? And she was just like,
the people around you.
She was a terrible, terrible person. Very, very bad person. And yeah, she kind of like, she ousted a lot of people in her camp that were influential and had were in her ear, like, yeah, these people are doing some weird shit. You know what I mean? And anybody that kind of got into Mariah's ear, like, that person was gone. And I was very influential, like, you know what I mean?
Right,
in that camp. And the fact that I said something like, oh, that's God's will, what happened. Because I was like, you know, I think Mariah came out later and kind of talked about some things that she was dealing with, which is why the show went the way it did.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, we should have pushed her down the steps and just sent her to the hospital, because I was like, she should not have been performing that night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, trying not to make it happen, and the
Yeah.
manager was like, no, we got to just make sure you guide her, make sure you watch her, make sure you do this. And I'm like, that's just not my responsibility. You know what I mean? But it was, you know, and I did what I could, but she ended up trying to make that situation my fault, pinned it on me, and pinned it on the production, then pinned it on me. You know what I mean? So, but I went through it. That moment right there was like, yeah, I'm tapped out with the industry, because, you know, you can sacrifice your whole life and it could be ruined by just someone's, just those words. Oh, the choreographer, creative director wasn't, I don't know, whatever the hell she said. What, you know what I mean? It's just, that put me in a dark space, because I'm just like, I worked my ass off all my life to be excellent. You know what I mean? With organization after artist, and everything that I've done was at a level that was super high. And for that incompetent imbecile to like try to ridicule and diminish my work and the things that I've done with Mariah,
knowing that it wasn't deserved at all.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Like, you work your whole life to do something, but then, you know, the industry, like, people, you know, PR teams come into play and they want to push it this way or push this narrative, but then, you know, you end up getting stuck in the crossfires, you know? And I totally understand how that, at that point, you're like, yeah, I'm good off this. I did my thing, but now.
And that's when I moved to Atlanta, randomly, found the city. I was like, let me go try to serve some underprivileged children and kind of do the same things that Donna and Al Brown did with Point Breeze Performing Arts Center. Yeah. Created a school with the same formatting, philosophies, models that they created Point Breeze with, and built Anthony Burrell Center for Dance from scratch, and it was an immediate success in Atlanta.
Knew it would be.
And yeah, that happened. COVID came around. I went back to get my master's when COVID came. COVID was terrible. Like, damn, COVID was terrible. Like, we were in a house.
It's tough. Yeah, it was really tough.
I went and got my master's during that time. And
so you were doing it remote?
Closed the school down. Yeah. Immediately when I got my degree, I applied for university. So I went to Boston Conservatory. It was the first school I applied for. They immediately responded, got the job, and I wasn't really ready to close Anthony Burrell Center for Dance. Yeah. But I needed a change because I was once again in a terrible ass relationship that, you know what I mean, it wasn't serving me. Yeah. And I had to leave Atlanta. And I think that job was like, come to Boston.
Yeah,
you know
right.
It's like, you need to get away.
Yeah.
So, I mean, once again, that destiny thing, it just kind of put me where I needed to be. And now,
also, when you let that dead weight go, like in a bad relationship, things open up for you. Things, like, life will change.
I had totally, like, lost my luster, my confidence, like, who I was. Like, I used to be a baddie, bro. Like, then I saw myself, I was like, I was so insecure. I was so insecure because I was looking for validation from somebody else.
Right. Yeah, no. When I was in my, like, not good relationship in college, one of my friends, I had a conversation with her, and she started tearing up and was like, every room that you walk into, Mia, you make it so bright. Like, your presence is felt. You're like, you have this light. But when... She was like, ever since you've been in this relationship, I don't see that light anymore. And for my friend to, like, tear up and get emotional saying that to me, I was like, yeah, I need to get out of this. And I got out of it. And then I graduated college. I booked Kiki Palmer. I went viral on Instagram. I started dancing for the NBA. Like, my whole life changed. Like, letting that dead weight go. And I feel that, like, and it's a cycle with that person. It's like an argument. Then you're still wanting that person's approval and you're wanting their, and it's like a bad cycle, you know? And when you let that go, shit changes.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you are in Boston at the Boston Conservatory. So what now does a day in your life look like? What's on your call sheet?
I have a really easy schedule. Like, my quality of life is impeccable. I mean, I work about 14 hours a week with the college, do extra rehearsals for extra curricular things, of course, for creative sakes. But my classes start at 10:30, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 10:30 to 12:30. Then I have a 1:30 to 2:30, and I'm done.
That's so nice. 10:30 start time.
Wednesdays I have off. So I work Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
That's so nice.
That's incredible.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a great schedule.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I want to talk about some of the mantras and mottos that you shared at Breaking Barriers that I've kept with me my entire life. One of the main ones is dedication, determination, discipline. And another one, pray, practice, proceed. You actually choreographed a solo for me, and I titled it that. Where did those come from?
My mentors.
Yeah?
Yeah. They, I remember getting in trouble. One of my mentors, Arthur Taylor, called me into his office and told me that I could, he just gave me, like, told me you could do so much. You could do so much in life. You just have to stay determined, dedicated, and disciplined. You know what I mean? And he said you could be a trash truck driver, you could be a doctor, you could do whatever.
Right.
You know, but if you stay with those 3 Ds, you could do whatever.
Yeah.
What was the second one?
Pray, practice, proceed.
I got that from Miss Jamison.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Miss Judith Jamison. I saw her do an interview, and she mentioned staying prayed up, being prepared, and just allowing God to do the rest.
Yeah.
The proceeding part. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
another one, I remember you made us line up everyone at Breaking Barriers in the mirror and all look at ourselves and like say that we're beautiful. And you were like, look, if you don't think you're cute, no one else will. Like, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. And I tell my friends, I tell people that all the time. It's so true and so important, you know? So that's another one that I learned from you too.
Well, I'm glad those things stuck with you. You know, you don't think that those things will have an impact, but yeah,
they
clearly
totally
they do.
Yeah. That's why it's like, truly, you didn't just shape me as a dancer. I mean, I would not be the dancer I am today without you, but I really wouldn't be the person that I am today without the impact that you had on me. Like, truly, these things I think about like a lot. Like, any lesson that you taught me, at least one of them comes into play every day of my life. Yeah.
That's really, really rewarding. You know what I mean? As an educator, I think those are the things you want to hear. It's the impact.
Yeah,
right. You know what I mean? I think you go into these classrooms daily, these programs, and you're doing the work, but you don't know what the outcome will be. But long as something stuck, you know what I mean? Something stuck. So I'm appreciative and grateful to hear that.
Yeah, you definitely had an impact on me. So let's do a little lightning round.
Okay.
Just quick, yes or like one or the other. Concert or commercial dance?
Concert.
Broadway or stadium tour?
Stadium.
Classical foundation or raw instinct?
Classical.
Rehearsal or performance?
Rehearsal.
Rehearsal, yeah. Every like dancer or choreographer that I've had on says the same thing.
Because the work is in rehearsal.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like that's.
Because then also once you perform, you're never doing that piece again. You know, it's like.
The process is about the process. The process is always like of getting there, of finding vulnerability, of finding your true confidence, of working out the little nuance and finding the finesse and the swag and all the things in both sides, classical and in the industry. I think it's just so much sweetness in the process that you can discover and of learning yourself, trusting yourself, trusting your cohort and the people that are around you.
And that's where you build those relationships and make those friends and that family is in the rehearsal space.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is one of the best parts.
And you build some enemies too, because I seen that.
Yeah.
Getting a couple
or the girl in the wrong spot and they hit you or something.
Facts,
like, you know.
Facts.
That's family, you know.
Yeah, facts.
You bicker, but you're family, you know. All right, and now some fact or fiction. So clearing up misconceptions in the industry. Commercial dancers don't need classical training.
That's a myth. I feel like commercial dance started with street jazz and jazz dance and African style movements. So that's absolutely a myth.
Right. And even like if you take a hip hop class and someone says like releve or, you know, like there's terms
it's terminology that comes about because most of these dancers dance. It's like it's a universal language.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So some things are just universal. You know what I mean? Someone told me a story about an artist, a choreographer that talked about that used a dancer using the technical term to this choreographer, and it was like, well, asking the choreographer, is this an attitude? And the choreographer was like, I ain't got no attitude. I was like, ooh, that's deep.
That
I don't have no attitude. I know I'm talking about like the shape.
You're like, I'm not saying, that's not what I'm trying to say. That's funny. Yeah, so it definitely comes into play.
Absolutely.
A few others. Plan A needs to be your only plan.
I agree. I think
that's another one you.
Yeah, I
you
should
said
say that.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, plan A is like, you know what I mean? I think when you are dedicated and focused on a track, it takes you in the direction of where you want to go.
Right.
And sometimes you may derail and fall off a track, but it gets you on a path of your goal. And I think sometimes your ultimate goal may not happen sometimes in some cases, but it derails you to other things that you were destined for. You know what I mean, along the way. So
definitely.
I definitely think your plan A is your only plan.
Yeah.
That was my
Double
logic.
Down.
That was my logic.
Yeah.
It still is. You know.
That's another one I kept because in high school I was like, I graduated early. I graduated a year early, and I was like, I know what I want to do. I'm getting out of here to do that. And they were like, you need a plan B. I was like, no. Anthony said plan A is your only plan. Like that. But I was so committed to that, you know, it will get you where you want to be when you lock in and double down and put your full time and energy into
with that dedication, determination, and
discipline.
Yep.
Exactly.
Like, with that, it'll definitely get you where you want in some doors. You know what I mean? I think to what capacity? I think it's really on you. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of people, what you put in is really what you get out in this industry.
Yes.
You know what I mean? As well as build, you got to build relationship. But
right.
You truly get what you put out.
Yeah, definitely. It's like going to the gym. The more you go, the better in shape you're going to get. Yeah, exactly. So what's something that's on your industry betrayal list, like an ick about the industry? I say like an example is like net 90 payment, like not getting paid for like 3 months. So what would be like an industry ick of yours?
My industry ick would be, I think a lot of people, and you work with for a period of time, become really close to you.
Yeah.
But I've seen those same people like turn their backs and become malicious and do things that were not godlike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, they will belittle you, talk about you to better themselves or put themselves in a higher position. And I've just never been that type of person because I've always just been about the talent and getting to these places because I had the ability.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people...
letting the talent speak for itself.
There's a lot of snakes.
Yes.
There are a lot of snakes.
This is the year of the snake.
Yeah.
And next year's the year of the... Like, next week starts the year of the horse.
No, get us there, baby.
Yeah, exactly. But they're totally... Or, yeah, I don't like that, like, sacrificing someone else so that you rise to the top. Like, I don't know. Also, if I was the higher up and I noticed that, I wouldn't trust you.
I know, but people...
People
have their own ways of doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To hide it away from the teams. But,
yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's real snaky sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
When people try to put themselves in line for the opportunities that you have.
Yeah.
And they'll go about it by doing sneaky, malicious shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So fake people.
Fake asses.
Yeah. Hey, I'm with you on that. Okay. So this is called Call Sheet Confessions. So what's your call sheet confession? It's Can be a funny behind the scenes, a crazy moment, if you got fired or something. Like anything that we wouldn't know.
I definitely got fired from the job was over, but I was on a tour with this artist named Erica Jane. She was a housewife.
Yeah.
Erica Jane would do these circuit shows and perform her little dance club hits at clubs, and I went on the job, and we were in New Orleans, and I had my boo come with me, and I went and did the show or whatever, and I came back, and my boo had somebody in the hotel room. And
oh my gosh!
Got into a fight. It was at the Ritz-Carlton. Lampshades were thrown on the TV. So, yeah. Because of that, they called like a police report, all that shit. I filed a police report, and they ended up not bringing me back for any more shows.
God, but kind of valid crash out.
I'll be that ass.
As you should. I didn't even ask because I already know.
Yeah,
but,
I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? In my room?
Oh my gosh.
In my room.
And it's at your job.
At my gig.
Yeah.
It was just like,
ugh. That's wrong.
Crash out.
But valid crash out. Valid crash out. I crashed out too.
And she paid well too. She used to pay us for performances and to go to the after party with her. You know what I mean? So we were like her little entourage. Yeah.
See, it's
shout out to Erica J.
Yeah, shout out. But it's valid crash out, but it's also, I feel like the lesson you take from that too is just don't let those people end up losing the opportunity because of their fuck ups. It's when you allow those situations to break you out of your character.
Yeah,
it's frustrating because then it's you're the one who lost out on that. Sure. She got whatever she was trying to, you know what I mean? But then lost out on something.
It was crooked. I can't believe it. I couldn't believe how could you even dare? Oh, we were just talking. It wasn't nothing.
Did you know the person? You didn't know the person. It was just some, what the well, karma's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. In another life, if you weren't pursuing dance, what would you be doing?
Obstetrician, for sure.
I did my research and I saw that. Yeah, and I thought that was really interesting and really cool.
Yeah, I love life. I love kids. I love the idea of supporting women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. So if you were starting over, or for the people listening that want to do what you do and want to be in the position that you are, have the career that you've had, what's your advice for them? And what tangible steps can they take to achieve where you are?
My advice would be to train in as many styles as possible. Get in front of people that are in the space, in the industry, in the rooms. You can get caught up into a lot of these dance schools that have people that have never really understood what it takes to be an industry dancer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they can spew a lot of things that aren't true. So I think it's important to be in the space, in the rooms with people that are moving and shaking in the industry. And to be humble and know your business. Know your business. Dance, being a successful dancer isn't necessarily being the best dancer all the time. It's about knowing how to position yourself, how to create relationships.
Yeah.
From one job to the next. It's how to be a great business person.
That's how you get longevity in your career.
Yes.
Yeah. So, legacy talk. How do you want to be remembered, and what impact do you want to have?
If I died today,
knock on wood, please.
I mean, it happens, It happens. But if I went to Paris, I would want to be known as a creative artist that dedicated himself to community work, arts, education, and a father. Yeah.
Well, Anthony, thank you for coming on.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
I wish you much success in this, and I'm so proud of you, and continue to break your own barriers, you know what I mean? And do the things that accomplish your wildest dreams. I encourage you to say it. And whatever you say, you know what I mean, whatever you verbally say, you can physically manifest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I encourage you to keep going, keep growing, all the things.
Thanks. I appreciate that. And what's next for you? Where can we find you? Anything you want to plug? I know you have the show coming this Wednesday, but this will come out.
So I'm currently working with BOCO, commercial dance department, but I'm still working in the industry with artists. Burrell University is the second iteration of what Breaking Barriers was.
Cool.
So I'm going to do it for artists 16 to 23
Okay.
that want to be in the industry.
Yeah.
Kind of give them a whirlwind of Burrell.
Yeah.
In a
The
week.
whirlwind is
Yeah, a whirlwind of Burrell in a week. So we're planning on launching Burrell University this summer.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Get in there, y'all.
Get in there, y'all. Getting in there.
Yes. Well, may you accomplish all your dreams. Work hard, dream big. If your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. As always, may your call times be reasonable and your checks be on time. Okay. And like my Mimi always says, break a leg, but not really. Bye, guys.